Talking hardball, the bull and the better. Talking hardball, part of Betting Weekly.
Live on a Friday afternoon. It's a beautiful day where I am in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm sure it's beautiful in Vegas. It's always beautiful in Vegas. And it's good to see Doug Kezirian, who I haven't seen in a while. Doug, how are you on this Friday?
Yeah, good to be with you, Bull. I was just thinking to myself, man, it's been a while because I haven't heard the live in a while, and it's always puts a smile on my face. So well done on that front. I touched them all, to use a baseball term. 1-1-1 yesterday. Got the lucky push on an under. I think in the Astros game, they didn't score for the last like 5 innings or something. But Jason Alexander, want to almost check his Cy Young odds because he's been on a roll lately for the Astros. But you see the ball well, then not so much. And hopefully you're only as good as your last show, right? So we'll build on that for today. But definitely good to be back with you, man. Excited to talk some baseball.
Yeah, and overall the show, I feel like the last couple of weeks has been sizzling hot between you and Chris and Albert and who am I forgetting?
Wes.
Yeah. I knew I was forgetting somebody. So everybody's been hot lately.
I need you to go back on vacation or something. I went 12-1 on a stretch of 6 shows. A few of those, I think 4 or 5 of those shows was when you were off. So maybe I can give you 2 tickets and we hand you a cruise trip or something.
Yeah, well, I was at maybe one of those games because I went to 2 Cubs Blue Jays games in Toronto. I don't know if you hit on either of those games, but
I had Scherzer. in that one game.
Yes. Yeah. It was cool seeing him in person. I think it was the first time I'd seen him pitch in person, and headed to a minor league game tonight. So a lot of fun stuff going on. And of course it's a Friday, which usually means there's no day baseball. That is the case today, unless the Cubs are at home, which they're not. But it also means a full slate of games because with rare exceptions on Friday, all 30 teams in the big leagues will play. And barring rainouts or something else weird happening, all 30 teams will play tonight. And by the way, if you like what you're hearing on this or any of our Betting Weekly shows, make sure you sign up for the newsletter, get exclusive tips and free Insider Magazine. Sign up for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. Betting Weekly Fast Break will come your way next in just under an hour. So let's get to it, Doug. Let's get to the first game of the day, the marquee matchups, including the Red Sox and the Yankees. Yankees' 5-game winning streak comes to an end. Boston has dominated the Yankees this year with their win last night. They've won 6 of the 7 matchups so far with 5 still to go. Brian Bayo, Max Fried. And, we were talking about Max Fried. When we started doing this show, we were talking a lot about Max Fried, and he was dominating the first half of the season. Unfortunately for him, it's been a tale of 2 seasons because he has not overall been good in the second half. He's been a different pitcher. What do you make of this matchup tonight?
Yeah, I'm really torn because I like Fried, and we knew he'd come back to earth, right? He was unhittable the first month and change, but it's been 15 earned in his last 3 games.
That's right.
And just not sharp at all. And Bayo I really like, but I like him at home. And here he is on the road. So, and the over got there thanks to the Anthony home run late. So I just wonder, are we overthinking this? Should we just be firing on the over 8.5? And I'm going to make that my first play. This Yankees lineup has enough bats to get to Bayo, even if he's like good Bayo, right? He won't be unhittable Bayo. So even if it's like a 6-3 win for Boston to get to Fried, this lineup for the Red Sox is hitting. There's a certain groove. I'm mad I didn't bet it yesterday, but I'll bet it today.
And I'm with you on that. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, as these matchups often are. In March, April, May, and June, Max Fried only gave up more than 2 earned runs twice. He got bombed by the Dodgers on May 30th, gave up 6 runs. And then on June 20th, he gave up 3 runs, not a bad start, but 3 runs against the Orioles in 6 starts. Well, since July, he started 8 games, and he's given up at least 3 earned runs or more in 7 of those 8. And in the one he didn't, he actually gave up 4 runs, but only 2 were earned. So, yeah, he's been a different pitcher. He has and the strikeouts have suffered as well. He had bigger strikeout numbers earlier in the season. You talk about his last 3 starts, 15 earned runs. He's only struck out 16. He's allowed 29 base runners in those 15 innings. So he's been struggling for a while, and the Yankees haven't won often when he's pitched lately, as opposed to early in the season where they won almost all the time. So his ERA's gone from 1.92 after a June 25th start against the Reds to 3.26 after getting bludgeoned by the Cardinals. Not a particularly good offensive club 6 days ago. So the over sounds good. I'm with you on Bayo as well. I expect a lot of runs to be scored in this game. The second game on the docket, the Royals and the Tigers. Red Sox Yankees, by the way, 7:05. Royals Tigers 7:10 on Apple TV. Both of these teams are red hot, Doug. Remember, the Tigers obviously got off to the great start this year. Then they were ice cold for about 6 weeks. They've won 9 of 11. The Royals have won 8 of 10. This is obviously there's no competition for the division at this point, but the Royals are very much in the thick of it in terms of the wild card. Any play for you in this game?
Yeah, so torn here. I like the Royals, to be honest, at plus money. I think it's Royals or pass. I just want a little more candy than plus 123. I was hoping for like a 140 and not ready to pull the trigger. I really want to fire on the under 8.5. I like Burgert a lot. I just think Mize is shaky. I think the big inning can get to him, and the Royals bats are starting to hit a little bit. I would love this like plus 110 at home situation for Kansas City, but I just want maybe 135. So I'm going to pass, but maybe by the end of the show, I'll come around on the Royals, because the 2 times I said that yesterday that I'm going to come back to this, they ended up hitting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously their offense has been, for the most part, this season has not been good. But you're right, it's been better lately, which is interesting because you thought Caglione would be the guy who injected life into this lineup, but he's been hurt, although he's been red hot in his rehab assignment. But I was listening to the Royals GM yesterday, made it sound like he might not be back till September, even though he's been hot in the minors. But Bobby Witt, kind of under the radar, was struggling there a little bit in the middle of the season. He's kind of gotten hot, and to some degree, as he goes, they go. And so I get the hesitancy. Especially in Detroit, and the Tigers are playing well. We'll see if you lock into that one by the end of the show. We've got a couple of comments already on the YouTube chat. Amish Farmer says he likes Boston first 5 plus a half run at plus 110. Can you be talked into that one and being with him there, Doug?
Absolutely, I would endorse that. I certainly, wouldn't lay the other side, right? Like, you always got to ask yourself, like, I wouldn't lay the other side, so why aren't I doing that? And Amish Farmer is a good stat with Stanton here.
Yeah, it's a good
striking
one.
out 7 times, but Stanton lately has been much different, right? This is a different version of Stanton. Still the same guy who's lumbering around the bases, but I'm okay betting over. I think this Yankees lineup's awake. Now, I don't think they're good for 162 games, but I think we're in a nice stretch here. They're hot. And let's not forget, yesterday, the game got the late home run to go over, but man, there were a million guys left on base, a lot of bases loaded jams that we got out of. Although that blooper was it left center, where the left fielder should have just had it coming in. I think it was the 3rd run for the Yanks, but I think we're going to see some runs, see some pop. But yeah, I can get behind Red Sox plus a half in the first 5.
All right, so there you go. I mean, yeah, I would stay away from picking a winner in that game. Well, I don't, not picking a winner. It's just the first 5, but I'm with your original thought of the over on that. I think it's going to go way over, and that would be my only play in that game personally. Another big game.
Sorry to interrupt, but the problem, like my bet, the problem is if one guy's pitching really well, Bayo gives up 2. 7 innings, 2 earned, bullpens, lock it down. Then you need 7.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. But 8.5 is a key number. Obviously 9 in a 5-4 game.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. But that is the cause for concern and why the over/under is not 9.5.
Dodgers Padres, of course, the Dodgers overall have been bad since the All-Star break. 15-16, they did sweep, so they're 3-0 against the Padres and 12-16 against everybody else since the All-Star break. They swept the Padres in dominating fashion. Now they play again this week in San Diego. Darvish, is coming off the injured list, has been up and down, but there's been not a lot of distance. He's only gone more than 5 innings twice in his 8 starts. Blake Snell, so a couple of veteran hurlers going in this one. It just seems like the Dodgers always have the Padres number, even if they're not playing well. Anything for you here?
I called him the little brother, and Albert was teasing me, needling me the other day. I was like, well, they are. I mean, It is what it is, right? Give me the Dodgers all day in this. I'll lay 127. I'll also lay run line plus 138. They'll get the Darvish. Snell's solid. He just shut out the Pods. I like this San Diego offense. I think the laser is getting a lot nice base hits. Arias as well, man. The guy can he's Tony Gwynn-esque. I don't want to say he's Tony Gwynn because that would be blasphemy, but I feel like he can get a hit anytime he wants. And the lineup is imposing, but the Dodgers lineup is as well. I think they're starting to rake, especially Freeman. I'll take the Blue Crew here minus 127, and I wouldn't mind anyone getting the run line as well. I think the Dodgers could win this 5-1 kind of thing.
Would you think about Blake Snell maybe in terms of strikeouts? Is that
I see where I'm picking up what you're putting down. I worry about the analytics of the Dodgers, and he only struck out 3 the last time he faced him, but then had 10 and 8. I would look at outs recorded, and that's what gets me a little worried about the analytics, like I mentioned. But over 15.5 sure looks like a bettable, Well, I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to go over 15.5 outs. I think the juice is pretty low, minus 129. I just worry that they're going to, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I think they're going to baby him a little bit. And if he's locked in strikeouts, then, I mean, look, he threw 90 pitches, 96 in his last 2 games, 86 before that. I just worry that it could be 5 innings and 7 Ks and 86 pitches and they pull him.
He's never been a guy that goes deep into games. Obviously, he's missed most of the season due to injury. His 3 starts since he's been back, as you mentioned, 86 pitches, 5 innings, 90 pitches, 5 innings, and then 96 pitches, 6 innings. He, as you said, also only 3 strikeouts against the Padres. Now he's only given up 3 runs total. That was in his first start. His last 2 starts against the Padres and Blue Jays, 2 very good offensive clubs. 8 hits, 5 walks, 13 Ks, and no runs in 11 innings. All right, those are some of the headline games of the week so far. Doug's got over 8.5, Red Sox, Yankees, and the Dodgers minus 127. A lot of action potentially on the Dodgers because they've just so owned the Padres in this head-to-head. Wanted to give you this information. Speaking of Friday and speaking of baseball, it's Bat Flip Friday at Bet Rivers. Opt in and place a $10 wager on any player to hit a home run. Any player. And you'll receive a profit boost of up to 100%. See the Bet Rivers app for full details. Maybe Shohei Ohtani. He's as likely as anybody to hit a home run if I'm going to get a 100% boost, Doug.
I think Freeman's going to go yard. I really do. He's reliable in these types of games. Ohtani is too. Who am I kidding? But I think Freeman goes yard if I had to.
We got some comments on this game in the YouTube chat. Amish Farmer says, "Where's Chris to defend the Padres?" Chris not here today. I don't think he would defend
San Diego resident, but Red Sox fan, so he knows that big brother jab might still be PTSD from the Red Sox days with the Yankees. But we don't have Chris today, but it is funny. That does needle people if they're residents or fans of a certain ball club.
And they're City by the Bay. I don't understand why the Dodgers is such a short line. They go on to say Dodgers being less than minus 130 favorite is very suspect. Do you agree with that?
I do. Well, they've been struggling. Look, the Rockies pounded them. Obviously they bounced back with Kershaw on the bump, but the Rockies pounded them. The lineup's been shaky. Mookie Betts isn't the same. The bullpens, there's a reason the Padres closed the gap, and the Padres power rating is pretty high. This lineup is solid, man. not a lot of holes in this lineup. And I do worry about that because obviously past performance is not guaranteed for future performance. Just because Blake Snell pitched well recently against San Diego doesn't mean it's
Right.
going to definitely happen tonight. But I'll take the bait. Sometimes we overthink it as sports bettors. We're like, oh, they're baiting us. They're not. They don't have a crystal ball. They don't have Biff's almanac.
Yeah, right.
Frankly, I do over my shoulder on the bookshelf.
Mm.
But I don't get too worried about like, oh, this line stinks. Yeah, it does stink, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I feel like, and this is, I don't have facts to back this up, but I feel like with the NFL, I feel like every time I think that, it goes the other way. You know, you think like this doesn't make any sense, and then it ends up going the other way from the way you think it's going to go. Let's get to some other games here. Astros-Orioles tonight, 7:05 Eastern. Lance McCullers and Cade Povich. The Astros have not been playing well. They did end their 4-game losing streak yesterday, though. Any plays in this one for you, Doug?
Yeah, I'm mad I didn't bet the Astros just because I like Jason Alexander a lot. I did bet the under, like I mentioned, top of the show. We pushed, but the Astros bats woke up recently. They had a string of 31 straight scoreless innings, finally got on the board. Povich, I think the Astros can stay hot a little bit. I think McCullers is okay, but I'd be inclined to bet the over here. I mean, 9.5 is a big number, but these are not pitchers I want to have an under bet with. So for me, it's over, pass. I don't think much of the Orioles, but I don't want to all of a sudden just back the Astros. I think it was a really good spot to back him with Alexander on the bump, but I'm not, as confident here with McCullers. So there was a stretch where we were backing McCullers because after the death threats or whatever you want to, whatever was going down, but it's his first action in a month, had some injuries. No need to get involved. No need to get involved.
To me, this game's a stay away. I don't like anything in this game. I don't like the runs. I don't like picking a winner here. I don't like either pitcher. I don't trust anybody in this game. And you feel that way, you stay away. Next game, Guardians and the Rangers. Certainly somebody I like. Oh, sorry, Mets Braves. We'll get to Guardians Rangers. Nolan McLean made his major league debut last time out for the Mets. He was fantastic. He's facing Joey Wentz, who's actually been pretty decent for the Braves overall after being a journeyman since being with the Tigers. Mets have been terrible on the road. Braves have been, well, both these teams have been terrible on the road, but the Braves are at home, where as bad as their season's been, they've been okay at home. You never know. Sometimes you see a rookie come out, he's great his first start, and then he falls on his face the second start. What are you thinking for this game?
Yeah, but sometimes those pitchers pitch well for a while, like Mizorowski.
Yes,
and this Braves team's been hot all of a sudden. I think they won 7 of 8 or 7 of 9, something like that. I like the under. I like the first 5 under, man. They can get to the bullpens third time through the lineup. I had some live unders the other day with the National Series. I'd bet under or nothing. I trust both pitchers here. The problem is the Mets lineup can get to you if you get sloppy early on, and then the big hitters coming up. That's a concern of mine here. So it would be under or pass, Mets or pass. I would back the youngster if I had to.
All right, yeah, he looked phenomenal, and you're right. I mean, it's not like he's out of nowhere. The guy's certainly a top prospect. So it's you buy into the great success more when the guy was highly thought of, and he certainly is. And I'm with you there. I think he's going to pitch well again tonight. Guardians at Rangers. I referenced that a minute ago. The Rangers, Nathan Eovaldi, his 2 starts ago struggled. It was really his only bad start all year. He bounced back. The Rangers are 8-0 in games he started since July. Meanwhile, Slade Cicconi's going the other way. He had a nice little run there, May, June for the Guardians, but he has struggled of late. His last 2 starts against Atlanta, who's been bad. I know they've been better lately, but they don't have a great lineup, and the White Sox, so 2 not great offensive teams. He's given up 13 runs, 11 earned, and 18 hits in 7 2/3. He is completely fallen off a cliff here, and if he gets blown out again, I think he might lose his rotation spot. So obviously Eovaldi's been fantastic. That's a huge edge in the pitching matchup, Doug, in this matchup. for the Rangers.
It is, and I don't think the money line quite reflects it at minus 159. I think it should be higher, but it's the Rangers, and where would they be without Eovaldi, to your point?
Oh, my gosh.
But it's just this. I mean, I want to go run line. It's just yuck. I think it's the right side, and the Guardians' offense is picking up a little bit. All right, I'll pull the trigger. Give me the Rangers. Why not? I think I just feel like this should be 139. It's not fair. It's 159. But then again, I'm still betting it at 159. So maybe it's the right price.
You're not going to go on the run line for +1. I think we got a +130.
Yeah, that's the lineup shaky. I do think they can get, they can break out the sticks a little bit, but I'll just, when it's the home team, it's such an edge in the late innings, and especially extras with the ghost runner. I think it's worth the price, the extra price at 159.
Yeah, the Rangers. It's hard to totally trust the Rangers because, they got to that hot streak right after the All-Star break and right at the trade deadline, but they've actually lost 11 of their last 14 games. I'm with you that I like them tonight, especially they pretty much only win lately when Eovaldi pitches. Otherwise, they lose just about every night. They just dropped 3 out of 4 to Kansas City on the road. All right, so there you go. So that's Texas minus 159 in this one. All right, let's go through the other games here because there's plenty of other action on the schedule. Rockies,
and I got a big one coming up too. So
okay.
Let's get to it. Let's see if you can find the needle in the haystack.
All right. Is it a team play or an individual play?
Both.
Okay. All right. Rockies Pirates 640. Antonio Senzatella, he's awful. So pretty much everybody in the Rockies is awful, but obviously they've played a lot better second, since the All-Star break. But he stinks. Braxton Ashcraft for Pittsburgh in this one. The Pirates have obviously played better in the second half also, and they've been good at home, actually over 500, 6 games over. Any play in this one?
You mean Senzatella turned into Pedro Martinez in his last game? I don't know what you're watching. He's excellent. Yeah, this is that meme where you have to hold your eyes open to watch this game. Not excited about this. This Pirates team kind of stinks.
Oh God, yeah,
they're really bad.
Who wants to watch this game?
I know, that's the thing. I'm holding my eyes open. Yeah. I lean Rockies here. I think Senzatella. It's like that scene in Major League where he's, it's like Ed Harris, the Vaseline ball. I feel like he's just throwing junk, but he's getting by. And the Rockies would be the only way you could play this. I don't think the Pirates should ever be minus 215. I really don't. I know Senzatella's bad.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
Why not?
Though.
Rockies plus $1.60.
All right, Nats Phillies 6:45 Eastern. The Phillies 19 games over 500 at home. Taijuan Walker on the hill for them. Cade Cavalli though pitching for Washington. He's come up and 2 of his 3 starts he's pitched well. His last start against these Phillies 6 days ago, 7 shutout innings, 7 hits, no walks, 5 Ks. Can he do it again, Doug?
I like the Nats. I think that's the only side you can play at this price, plus 150. Phillies are good. You mentioned it, and especially at home. But some of it's when the other guys are pitching. I'm okay. If I have to fade the Phillies, I would be okay against Walker to have to do it. So if you're giving me plus 150, I think I'd rather do Rockies plus 160, but both of these dogs feel like too much candy here. So I would look at the dog.
Yeah, we talked a little bit ago about a game you wouldn't want to watch. Well, there's a game I do want to watch tonight, and that's the Blue Jays and the Marlins. You might ask why, because the Marlins are not a particularly good team. But Shane Bieber, one of my favorite pitchers, is getting activated off the injured list. He hasn't pitched since, I believe, late March or the first week of April last year. Made 2 starts for the Guardians last year, and he was lights out. He's always been lights out when he's been healthy. He had Tommy John surgery, I want to say late April last year. He's been rehabbing. He's thrown a bunch of starts in the minors. And now, after getting acquired by the Blue Jays at the trade deadline, he makes his Blue Jays debut tonight in Miami against the Marlins. Blue Jays obviously a significant favorite. I guess you don't know what to expect from Bieber or how long he'll go, but I'm pretty optimistic, even though he hasn't pitched in nearly 2 full years.
So dare I say you're a believer in him?
Thank you very much. That's a good dad joke right there. I am a believer. I'm 100% believer. In fact, I think I should make a sign denoting that I'm a believer.
Justin Bieber is from Canada, right?
He
So
is.
this all works well.
Yeah.
Honestly, Bieber could be the difference maker in the playoffs. If he's
Yes.
vintage Bieber, I mean, you guys want a Cy Young, right? Like, if he can steer the ship and deliver. Now, I like this Marlins team. I'd be on the Blue Jays. I would take a leap of faith with Bieber if he were not going against a team I typically like to bet on. And I've talked about this Miami team all year. They've been very profitable for me in a lot of ways, but it's a big price. I mean, you're paying a tax, to be honest. And I say this all the time with point spreads and, just to use an example of the NFL, Cowboys, Eagles, odds makers love this match. Full strength, -3, throw it up, Sunday Night Football, let's go, let's book some action. But Dak out and Cooper Rush like they don't know what to do. They don't know what the right power rating is.
Right.
So in a situation like this, Bieber, it's like they don't really know what they're getting here. Now they have a straddle. They being the Bet Rivers odds makers. There's a straddle here, but -175 plus 143. So there's a buffer and there's a market, but the market is fairly soft. No one knows what to expect with Bieber, and I don't either. So therefore, I'm not going to wager on it.
I'll tell you one play I like tonight in this game, and I get what you're saying. It's risky because Bieber hasn't pitched in forever, but he was throwing. He's always been a big time strikeout pitcher. He was striking out a lot of guys in the minors. I get it, it's the minors, but he looked good. At Bet Rivers, we have Bieber over 4.5 strikeouts at -165. Now I know it's -165. And maybe I'm crazy to think this way, but in my mind, it's a no-brainer he's going to get 5 strikeouts. Now, maybe they only let him pitch. Yeah, I could be totally nuts on this. They might let him pitch 3 innings and pull him. I don't know what the pitch count's going to be. But I think he's had enough rehab starts and he's enough of a veteran that he'll probably go 5 innings. And if he goes 5 innings, I don't see any way he doesn't get 5 strikeouts.
Fair. It's fair. I mean, that's, what his bread and butter is, and that's what he typically does. I would just, you never know with guys coming off injuries, which is why odds makers are probably proceeding with caution.
Yeah. In terms of the Marlins, I will say the Marlins are a team that doesn't strike out a ton. They're fifth from they strike out the 5th least amount behind only Toronto, Kansas City, San Diego, and the Cubs. So that's one thing in their favor in terms of that. All right, next game we've got the Mets and we did the Mets and the Braves. The Cardinals and the Rays. At 7:35 Eastern tonight. Cardinals a game under 500, Rays 6 under 500. Both teams are probably out of it, although crazier things have happened. Miles Michaelis, who's had a bad season on the hill for the Cardinals. Adrian Hauser, who's had a very nice season this year for both Tampa Bay and, he's pitched. He has actually not pitched as well for Tampa Bay. He was pitching great for the White Sox. He struggled some since going over to Tampa Bay, but he did pitch well in his last start after he struggled in his first 2, 5 shutout innings against the Giants, but overall it's been good. And he played for you in this one, though.
Both these teams are kind of bet against right now,
Yes.
right? I think the Cardinals, if anything, although you just never know what you're going to get with Adrian Hauser, he's kind of a mixed bag. But I think against a decent lineup, I use that term loosely with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I would bet on the the Cardinals at plus money. I think this line should be closer to pick 'em. So 3 dogs that I like, those plus 116, plus 150, those ugly dogs earlier, and then the plus 118. Again, if I were grinding, doing small bets and stuff like that, putting a portfolio and we're just trying to make sense on the dollar, those 3 dogs I would play. But for the sake of this show, I would not. But definitely not on the favorite here.
No, no way you could bet on the Rays. They're not playing well. I don't know why they're so big a favorite. Amish Farmer says, Doug, the Cardinals are baseball royalty. Do you buy?
Just ask them; they'll tell you.
Yeah.
Just ask their fans; they'll tell you.
100%.
Greatest fans in baseball. Just ask them.
I've been around.
My
their
favorite
fans.
That Twitter account that retweets horrible things said by Cardinals fans. It's actually really clever Twitter account, to be honest.
Another one from Amish Farmer, going back to the Rockies Pirate series. He goes, "What do you think of Colorado to win the series at plus 220?"
Well, I'd have to sniff around to see, who's pitching the rest. So Freeland's going tomorrow with Burrows. I actually like Burrows more. I guess my question is, with Skeens going on Sunday, why get cute? Why not just play him plus 160 today? I know the allure. And We know
Yeah.
Skeens had trouble the last time he faced the Rockies, but I think that was more Coors Field.
Yeah.
So I would be more inclined to expect a bounce back from Skeens on Sunday.
Right.
I would just not try to get greedy. I would bet both games on Friday and Saturday with the dog and just hope to get, you only need is one of them.
Yeah, I'm not interested in betting the series when I got a Skeens against whoever on Sundays. As you said, despite his poor performance in Coors, I don't expect that to happen again at all. All right, next game today, we continue with the nighttime docket. The Twins and the White Sox, another tough game to watch there. Zebby Matthews will go for the Twins. He hasn't been particularly good. And for the White Sox, Aaron Savale will go. Nothing much to get excited about in this game. Is there any play you like here?
I mean, this has to be Twins or pass, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, no way I'm betting on the White Sox, but to me, it's just pass or pass. That's how I look at it.
I mean, it's the very definition of forgettable. So let's forget this game.
Giants Brewers 8:10 Eastern. The Giants are calling up Carson Whisenhunt for the second time this year. He's pitched a few innings in the big leagues to make the start for the Brewers, who finally lost a series for the first time in forever, losing 3 of 5 to the Cubs. But they continue to play well overall. Jose Quintana on the hill for them. They're back at home for this series. Anything for you here, Doug?
Yeah, this is the game I like.
Okay.
The Giants are terrible against left-handed pitchers. They dead last in all these key categories in hitting. And with Quintana on the bump, I'll lay it with the Brewers. Let me ask you this. Do you think the Brewers bats can get to Whisenhunt?
Yes.
I know. Me too. That's why I liked under 8.5.
Yeah.
But I think it's got 6-2 written all over it, 6-1. But maybe they even really break out the bats. So I think the Brewers, like you said, off the series loss to the Cubbies back home. Meanwhile, the Giants just got punked by the Padres.
Yeah.
Travel to the Midwest. This first game, the lineup stinks, can't hit lefties. I think the Giants don't do any damage on the base paths. I like the Brewers minus 180, and we'll do another half unit on the Brewers run line.
I was just going to say, okay, the Brewers run line. How about the
minus 1.5?
Right. How about the Brewers over 4.5 runs at minus 110?
Yeah, I just worry that Whisenhunt can keep them baffled, and the Brewers bats have been somewhat silent lately. So I'd rather just fade. I'd rather do San Fran's team total under. I think this is a bet against San Francisco more than it's a bet on anything else.
Fair enough. So the Giants are under 3.5 runs minus 115.
Yeah.
Is that too low?
3.5 is really hard. But then let's say you get through the first inning and you're like, oh, then we talked about this yesterday on the live show. And I did hit a live under during the show, but it's like it goes from, in this case, 8.5. If you get through first, it's like 7.5. Then that team totals 2.5, just like that, because it's the bottom of the lineup. So it's really about that first inning. Is when you're betting anything, it's all about the short term first, right? So if I'm betting under or over 8.5, you're betting on first inning, because if you like the over and you don't think they're going to score, then just wait and you'll bet over 7. Whatever it is.
Right.
So it's really about the immediate future, whether it be a futures bet and you think that market's going to move, or you're betting a side or a total or anything. It's all about the short term, because you can bet at so many points during the game. I think this is a Giants lineup that's going to really struggle. I think they're going to be flat. But the reason I don't want to, I think they could put up fluky 2 runs like bloop it and blast, right? But then there's no guarantee they score again.
Right.
So I would play the under 3.5 if I had to, but I think the Brewers can win a slugfest, and I do think they'll get to Whisenhunt a little bit at worst.
Competing views in the YouTube chat. City by the Bay says, I wouldn't be surprised if the Brewers cover the run line. As someone who hates betting run lines, especially home run lines, you have to look at the Brewers here. On the other side, Amish Farmer says we could be entering what happened we could be entering what happened to Milwaukee territory. Everyone has had their slide. The Brewers haven't. They've been sizzling hot. They've dropped 4 of 6 now. Could this be a prolonged slide for a team that's, let's face it, is very good, but was over the top, for their 6 weeks?
And they have their slide early in the season, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
They're throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that doesn't mean they couldn't have another slide, but you're right. They were not playing good baseball earlier in the year. Cubs and Angels, this game in Los Angeles or in Anaheim. Tyler Anderson's pitching for the Angels. The Cubs have not announced the starter yet, unless you've seen it. Trying to think who is scheduled to pitch for the Cubs today. They had a doubleheader on Tuesday. So that could be why Cade Horton would be on 3 days rest. Obviously not going to use him, and he left his last start with a blister. So
he only pitched an inning?
Yeah. So yeah,
theory,
he could in theory. He hasn't gone on the injured list. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Cubs end up doing at starting pitching here. Is this a stay away because you don't know who the Cubs are pitching? Or
yeah, I mean, I think it's a bad spot to bet the Cubs. The big emotional game with the Brewers, travel out west. Tyler Anderson's no one I want to run to the counter to bet on. Former high school teammate of Bryce Harper's, by the way, here in Las Vegas. He had a nice run with the Dodgers for a little bit, maybe half a season, but I'd be passing pretty hard on this game. Let me ask you this, Bull. Yeah. It's a weekend. More fans in this game, Cubs or Angels?
Definitely Cubs. I mean, the Angels are out of it. The Cubs fans travel. Although, what's funny, I mentioned this.
They're located everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. The only where they're not located is Toronto. I have never, I've seen the Cubs obviously at Wrigley, but I've seen them in, 10, 15 different road ballparks. And for the first time ever, when I went to the Cubs Blue Jays last week, both days I was there was not much of a Cub fan presence. The only time I've ever seen that. New York, Boston, everywhere else I've been, mostly on the East Coast and in the Midwest, there's usually a ton of Cub fans, and obviously in California there will be. But I was surprised how few. The Blue Jays fans, they packed that stadium. But to answer your question, yes, I think this will be a pro-Cub crowd, especially because the Angels are basically out of it yet again this year.
I haven't been to a game involving the Cubs in a while, but I know they travel well. The Angels have been on the wrong end of some visiting brands. I think they played the Red Sox recently at home, the Yankees. I mean, it's you name it. The Angels are getting the Freeway Series, but it's just it's got to be painful for some of these, subpar fan bases to just have infiltrated with these national fan bases.
I think the worst is when the Yankees play the Rays. I mean, and the Rays are a good friend. Rays are good. I mean, they're not good this year, but they're usually good, unlike the Angels, who have been bad for a while. But that's always really bad when it comes to that. Big Z, who sometimes produces this show, he produces my podcast, says Toronto is a White Sox town. He's just messing with us.
No Cubbies fans allowed.
And Shane says, and don't forget the Angels suck. The Angels do suck. So we'll leave that.
Their lineup has some pop, man. They're feaster family. They strike out a bunch. Yes. I will say that. They strike out a lot, but they do have some pop. It's feast or famine for sure. And then there's Mike Trout.
Yeah, it's a shame. The guy's never been able to have any opportunity. One postseason. It's just beyond remarkable that they've just done nothing around them. All right, Reds and Diamondbacks. Zach Littell, Ryan Nelson. Reds best record in baseball of any team not currently in the playoffs. Diamondbacks just come off a series win against the Guardians. They've been around 500 all season. I don't think either team is going to the playoffs, but a couple of somewhat evenly matched teams and pitchers in this game.
I think we jinxed Nelson on this show. We were riding him. We liked him. And then all of a sudden he's been touched up a little bit of late. Now, Littell's been solid. For me, it's Reds or pass here. I think that's a little too much. So we had the two big dogs earlier in the show at plus 150, 160. Then the Reds, and then another team we talked about recently at plus 115 range. So That's all I would consider. I don't want to lay juice here with the Diamondbacks, although Nelson
Right.
could bounce back, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Players, everybody at Bet Rivers can log in every Sunday, including this Sunday, of the promotional period for a 33% profit boost to use on any Sunday Night Baseball same game parlay. So check that out at Bet Rivers. The Sunday night game this week is, not a shocker, the Red Sox and the Yankees. So get that profit boost this Sunday. Couple of notes that may be of interest to people in Major League Baseball. The Rockies have released Austin Gomber, Pirates' top pitching prospect and one of the top 10 pitching prospects in baseball. Bubba Chandler just entered the Pirates locker room. He gets his first call to the big leagues. For some reason, they're not starting him. They're pitching him out of the pen. That makes no sense to me, but whatever. That's the Pirates. And it looks like Evan Carter of the Rangers is going to miss the rest of the season with a fractured right wrist. So a couple of notes to keep your eye on there. Doug, we've got one more game that we haven't hit on, and that is the Mariners and the A's. The game's series starts in Seattle. The Mariners, who were sizzling hot after the trade deadline, and everybody was loving them, they went on a huge winning streak. Since they had an 8-game winning streak, they'd won 10 of 11. Well, since then, they have lost 5 in a row, 7 of 8, got swept by the Phillies, lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets and 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. Now they play an athletics team. Do you think they get back on track here against the A's?
I think they have to. I think Woo's the guy I always want to go to war with them. But, yeah, I mean, you got to be careful betting. There's no guarantee they figure it out, right?
Yep, certainly true. Woo's been their best.
Yeah.
The rookie Luis Morales will pitch for the A's in this one. He got called up at the beginning of August, pitched out of the pen, and then he got a start against the Orioles, only went 2 2/3, but walked 5. And his last start against the Angels, he went 5 innings, allowed 7 base runners, but only 1 run and 5 Ks. So I would think that, the Mariners, I certainly wouldn't bet on the A's at all, but one guy on the A's I like to bet on, Nick Kurtz. What a season that guy's having. Or Mark rookie here.
Yeah, rookie.
All right. That's going to do it for baseball. We touched on every single game. Everybody, good luck with your bets this weekend. But that's not it for the day. Betting Weekly Fast Break coming your way in about 16 minutes. What do you guys got going on at the top of the hour there, Doug?
Yeah, I'll be with Albert. I love a game in the WNBA tonight. There's 3 on the slate. We'll also look ahead to the weekend. There's been a shift in the WNBA MVP odds. Asia Wilson was closing the gap as the 3rd favorite. Now that she's the 2nd favorite, closing the gap even further. Brings up an interesting discussion with Nafisa Collier hurt and missing, I think, 9 games at this point. So a lot of interesting topics and some yes-nos to make the playoffs, some adjusted win totals, great betting options out there at Bet Rivers. And like I said, I love a game tonight, and I will discuss it. Thanks to all of you in the YouTube chat. Thanks to the hundreds of you watching on Twitter/X. By the way, tell me this before we wrap up. Paige Beckers had this magnificent game the other day. Do you happen to know the record for most points in a WNBA game? It's higher than that. She tied the rookie record. Okay. So she did tie the record, and she went 17 of 21 from the field, right? I don't think she hit the rim in the second half. She's surrounded by clowns with Enrique Gumbawale hurt. Yaru's hurt as well. They lost that game, right? At the buzzer. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. Yeah. And we'll see what she has for an encore. I will say that's the game as they host Seattle. That's the game I love tonight. And so we'll discuss it top of the hour. All right. Again, that's coming up at top of the hour in about 15 minutes. Thanks to Shane and Alex for producing today. Thanks to all of you for joining us. For Doug, I'm Adam. We'll see you next week on Betting Weekly Hardball.